Kitchen Lindy. I wanted to do a quick video on the recipe just for the 2-ingredient dough because a lot of people ask me specifically for the recipe, so I just wanted to have a video just for the recipe itself. And I wanted to make mention that with this recipe, there's so many things that you can make with it. It's so versatile. This recipe actually replaces almost all of my bread products now. So there's so many things that I haven't even ventured into that this dough can be used for. So I wanted to show the recipe and also show, again, if anybody didn't see, the 2-ingredient Miracle Dough Cookbook, which has a ton of different recipes. I've already done a strawberry jam roll-up recipe out of here. I've marked off quite a few pages, so you'll be seeing some more recipes coming from me from this cookbook. I'll also put the link in the Amazon link for this book in my description below where you can get it. There is the book version and also a Kindle version if you wanted something a little bit less expensive for the Kindle version, or if you just don't mind having not the hardcover book. So for the recipe, I don't actually use the self-rising flour. I use regular all-purpose white flour. If you wanted to use whole wheat, you can do that as well, but it's 1 cup. And then to that, for the to make the self-rising flour, if you don't have self-rising flour, you add baking powder and salt. So I am adding 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. So that is what makes the actual self-rising flour if you don't have the self-rising flour, or if you just didn't want to purchase self-rising flour, because I mean, we always have flour in the house, but not self-rising flour. So that's why I started doing this. So just give that a quick mix so that that's all mixed in. So that's the actual self-rising flour part. And then to that, you're going to add 1 cup of yogurt. So it's 1 cup of flour to 1 cup of yogurt. And this will be the same if you have self-rising flour. You would just use 1 cup of self-rising flour with 1 cup of yogurt. If you're going to use whole wheat or any kind of gluten-free flour, you can do that as well. The yogurt that I do use, because I am on WW, I use the Greek plain 0% yogurt, and the brand that I specifically go to is Liberty, and it's the plain 0% Greek yogurt. You can use any kind of Greek yogurt as long as it's the plain and 0%. I have by accident one time picked up a vanilla and it's not nice tasting in this. I mean, if you are going to be using it for, say, a dessert, maybe you might like it, but you can use this and just add a vanilla extract if you wanted to save on your points. So you're just going to mix this all together and it will form a dough ball. Now, if for some reason this isn't actually forming a dough ball, what I recommend is adding a teaspoon or a tablespoon at a time, just a very small amount of water, just until it forms a dough. You can mix this in a mixer as well, with a dough hook on it, and it mixes up very fast. So I find pushing it down a little, almost like a creaming, it does mix it a bit better because it kind of gets the yogurt to stick a bit better. So mine is not forming a ball like I want it, so I'm just going to add a tiny bit of water. So I'm adding a teaspoon at a time. And just mix that. And that'll just get it a little bit more wet so that it'll grab everything. So see, that almost instantly made it grab. So 4 point wise, there we go. And that instantly made a ball. So that's what you're looking for, is a ball like that, a ball of dough. Now this, a lot of people get a different point count for WW members. I will, as I always mention, make sure that you are creating recipes on the app. If you don't know how to create recipes on the app, I do have another video where I show a walkthrough of how to create a recipe on the app, so that might help you out. For mine, with using the white all-purpose flour and the Liberty Greek yogurt, the baking powder, and the salt for the 1 cup portions, mine counts out to 13 points for this entire recipe. So if you are using this ball of dough, make sure that you are inputting in how many servings you're getting out of this. So if you're using this entire ball of dough for, say, a large pizza, something that you would use the entire recipe for in one portion, it would be 13 points for that. So I like this to use the full portion when I'm making a family-sized pizza, and it's 13 points for that dough. But I know that I can get 8 slices of pizza out of it. So I know technically I'm actually getting 8 servings out of this when I'm making a full-size pizza. If I'm making pizza, like on a Friday night, we'll make pizzas, and me and my husband will split this. We can get 2 pizzas out of this. So it works out to be 7 points each. When you put in your servings, keep in mind that it's not actually all the time, it's not always exact math. So where normally this would be 6.5 if you're splitting this in half, it's not, because it rounds it up. So it's actually 7 points for if you're splitting this into 2. So make sure that you are creating your recipe. What I personally do is I create the recipe for the full ball, so it's 13 points, and then I save that into my recipes. So if I'm ever using this, I can go in and you can edit it at any time. So you can edit that recipe depending on how many servings that you're getting out of this, and then you can track it that way. So say you got 5 portions out of this, you can go into your recipe, edit the recipe in the recipe builder, change it to 5 servings, and then track it for your meal. And then you can go back and change your actual recipe itself. You can change that to the 1 serving so that you still have it listed at 13 points if you want to know what the whole ball is. And then that way, going forward, you can just edit your recipe depending on how many servings you get when you're wanting to track it. So that's how I do it. This is the recipe for the 2-ingredient dough. As you can see, it took 2 minutes to make. If you wanted to put it into a mixing stand, you can do that as well, but it's just as fast doing it by hand. And again, I made my own self-rising flour with the baking powder and the salt, but you can use 1 cup of just self-rising flour if you do have it on hand. So thank you for watching. I do hope you like this video. Stay tuned for more videos that I will be making with recipes with this. I do have, like I showed you, my 2-ingredient miracle dough cookbook, which I will be putting the link for in my description as well below. And stay tuned for more recipes coming with that. I do have quite a few new ideas coming as well that I will be showing. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And if you wanted to be alerted of any new videos coming out, tap the bell button and you will be notified of new videos. As always, my handles are at the bottom. So my handle on Connect is at Stitch and Lindy. And if you'd like to follow my journey along on Facebook, my Facebook group is Stitch and Lindy's Weight Loss Journey. Thank you for watching.